Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and in this edition of Let's Learn Mortal Kombat, I want to talk about the concept of jailing. It's an incredibly important concept in this game, even more so if you're a character that doesn't have very fast hitting mids. This is something I have briefly talked about in a previous video, but not everyone has seen that video, and this really needs to stand alone in its own video because it's a really important concept. So right now I have chosen Kung Lao as our example, and we'll go into a couple more character specifics here, but just to show you a brief example of what jailing is. So for Kung Lao, one of his main strings here, very important string, very good string, goes directly into B&B combo if you see connect, and it's even slightly advantage on block, which in this game moves being advantage on block is incredibly rare, but it's got a big fatal flaw in that if the enemy ducks, the first three hits are all highs. So it'll just go clear over their head, and they can down one you, they can uppercut you, they can do whatever they want, because you're just sitting there for days waiting before the actual hits connect, right? That's only until he gets to the rush punches that he can actually hit a ducking opponent, so they can do whatever they want to you beforehand. But this is where the concept of jailing shows up. So, if we hit him with a down 3, you can see here, it says the hit advantage on that down 3 is 10. So, there's 10 frames of animation before they're allowed to return to the duck, or they can jump, or they can attack, or do whatever they want, right? But until that point, they are stuck for 10 frames of animation. And the start of the string is 8 frames. So 8 frames being obviously a lower number than 10, during this little animation they have where they're being hit, we can actually hit them and start our string. As you can see right there. So the enemy is holding down the whole time, right? They're doing nothing but holding down, but they're not allowed to freely do whatever they want until those 10 frames are over. And since our move comes in faster than the animation itself will end, that is the concept of jailing. So this isn't like a Link in Street Fighter. Like in Street Fighter, in this kind of situation, you have a Link, but the enemy is allowed to block this, right? So this will not be a true combo or something like that. The enemy, as long as they are not actively being comboed, period, they could be like a million frames on hit, doesn't matter, right? They will still be able to block. NRS games, that's just how that is. They'll always be able to block, so that won't be a factor in this situation. But in this situation here, we just want them to badly be able to be submitted by our attack string here. We want this to get off here. We don't want to get down 1 or uppercut mash through this. So the down 3 is our answer in this situation. And then we can just kind of go for whatever, because that's basically just what jailing is. You're in jail, and you have to submit to what we're doing. So now just to show you a couple character-specific examples of some very useful cases for jailing. So starting with Shao Kahn. His mid-games is kind of bad. You know, back 2, it works all right, but you can't really hit confirm into it. You just have to make the read and go for it. He does have 4-3, which is very good, although it is incredibly difficult to hit confirm into 4-3-4. So what works for him? And that's just down 4. That's going to be your jailing move here. So he has a hit advantage of 15 frames. And you're going to jail into stand 1, because stand 1 obviously is a high. And from there, you actually get some of his best combos in the corner, because stand 1-4 is pretty much the only string that combos directly into the hammer, and the hammer is how he gets a lot of his corner combos. So just a brief example there, right? Pretty decent corner damage to say the least. So in a similar vein, Kotal Kahn. So Kotal Kahn's fastest hit confirmable mid is 22 frame startup. And that's not very reliable in a lot of situations, right? But once again here, down 4, it gives him 15 frames of advantage. And his stand 1 is 8 frames. So that means the jail is pretty easy to do. So I can hit down 4 and hit stand 1, and it jails into it. And from there, we get a bit of a corner combo as well if you get the confirm. Now, as you can see here, we managed to convert that jail into a full combo as well. Normally, if the enemy was ducking and mashing D1 or uppercutting, we would just completely miss, right? Because that is a high. But thanks to the magic of the jail, we got it. Now for a more mid-screen example, and this works for a lot of characters that struggle with a lot of just lack of good mids or lows mid-screen here. And that's just off your simple D1. So here, Scarlet down 1, 8 frames advantage. Start up on her stand 1, 7 frames. That means we have a frame to work with. So all of a sudden, down 1 into stand 1, it works and it jails. and we get a nice simple combo from that, right? A lot of her good stuff here, you know, 13 frame startup on forward 4. That's not really going to cut the butter here. Back 1 also a bit slow here. So if you're just looking for that scramble situation, you're just looking for a quick combo. And if you're going for this off the bat here, you know, that might not work because you start with the high and you'll get down 1 mash or uppercut mash. Stuff like that is exactly the situation what jailing calls for. So yeah, in the end, that's just the concept of jailing. It's quite simple. All you really have to do is look at the numbers. So, you know, turn on your frame data counter here, which is over here in options if you're not aware. That's where you find it. And just look at the hit advantage on a lot of moves here. So, like, if it says 10 frames and you have a move that's 7 frames, then that should work. Now, with that said, I got Frost here for a reason. Some hitbox interactions just don't work out sometimes. So even though the math is correct here, so we have 10 frames of advantage and we have a 7-frame move, this won't work. Combination of just hitbox stuff here and a lot of just Frost being kind of bad, sadly. So make sure you test it out because the math might work out and you see the math and you see the numbers like, oh, it's guaranteed to work. Make sure you test it out first because sometimes, unfortunately, due to weird hitbox, hurtbox interactions, even though it should work, it doesn't. But for the most part, it does. So if you're playing a character that has, you know, slow mids or, you know, just unfortunate, not the best stuff up close, this is the kind of stuff you want to be looking for. It could be a quick down 1 is all you need into high starter. It could be down 4, down 3. It doesn't matter. As long as you just smack them, force them into that recovery animation, and then go into your string. As long as it's fast enough, that all they can do is either sit there and block, or if they are trying to mash buttons, like, you know, mash uppercut to mash down 1 or whatever, even if they're trying to hold up the jump or just still holding down, you will hit them guaranteed, and that's just what jailing's all about, and that's why it's so strong. Anyways, that is it for this video, so thank you very much for watching. I hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Mortal Kombat.